Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the next video. Well, this is Waqar Ahmed, and in today's video, I'm going to discuss adverb or adverbial clauses. By the way, just to inform you, we have already done two video lessons. First of which I discussed, first of all, dependent and independent clauses. I also mentioned the names which were principal, main, and or any other clauses. You are supposed to watch that video to understand and to learn more about this. And in second of which, I discussed especially kinds of adjective clauses, right? First we discussed adjective clauses, then I looked at kinds of adjective clauses. We have restrictive, non-restrictive, right? Which are also known as identifying, non-identifying. I discussed it as well. So links of both of these videos will be given in description below, right? Don't forget to check them out. Well, let's start our today's lecture. Adverb or adverbial clause, right? Both are the names. Well, adverbial clauses are subordinate clauses that do the work of an adverb, right? These are introduced by subordinate conjunctions, some of which have been listed below before. So adverbial clauses or adverb clauses are also subordinate clauses, right? That do the work of an adverb. So how do you begin such clauses? Well, you begin such clauses, you start or you introduce such clauses using conjunctions, especially subordinating conjunctions, right? We have two types of conjunctions. I guess I have told you even before, if I'm not wrong. Coordinating, subordinating, right? We have other minor kinds as well that I'm not going to look at. So some of the subordinating conjunctions or subordinate conjunctions have been listed here: before, after, while, although, where, as soon as, when, whenever, since, till, until, as, because, right? So here I have included 5 examples. First of which is, while I read newspaper, I take tea. So while reading newspaper, this guy, I, right, first person subject, takes tea. So here we have two clauses. First is while I read newspaper, which is an adverb clause, right? And so it has been followed by a comma, and then I take tea. This is main clause, right? It is independent of any other information. This is independent clause. While I read newspaper, this group of words is actually a clause, and this is dependent clause, right? It is dependent on I take tea, this clause, principal clause or main clause. Let's look at second example. Although he didn't like my car, put a comma, he used it. Although he didn't like, right? Here we are showing contrasts, that although he didn't like my car, right? Despite the fact that he didn't have any like for my car, he used it. So here you also have to, so all the clauses that are in red type are actually dependent clauses, right? Namely, they are adverb or adverbial clauses. Since he was, I'm reading now, third example. Since he was crippled, he didn't manage to win the race. He maybe lost the race, right? He was beaten. Because he was crippled, he was lame, right? Excuse me. Now let's look at fourth one. Until you complete your work, put a comma. Obviously, it has to be followed by comma. Since you have put, one thing that you have to notice when you put adverbial clauses the first, not all the types of adverbial clauses can be put the first. There are some kinds of adverbial clauses that you can't put the first, but as many kinds of adverbial clauses as you can put the first, as you can logically and grammatically, being grammatically correct, you can put the first. So you have to put a comma as well, right? As you can see in all these sentences. Now, until you complete your work, you won't even move from here, right? So by the time you complete your work, within this time period, you have to stay here. You're not allowed to move, right? So as soon as you have completed, then you can move. whenever they complete any degree, whenever, may, you're supposed to capitalize it, right? Whenever they complete any degree, they celebrate it. They maybe they enjoy party, they do some other celebrations, right? So whenever they complete any degree, this is adverbial clause. So it has been followed by comma and then followed by a main clause or independent clause. They celebrate it. Now, here we have looked at 5 examples of adverbial clauses. Now I would like to walk you through kinds of adverb, right? So let's continue. Read the heading. Adverbial clauses can be classified into 9 groups or categories, and they are following, right? And they are following. So here is the first kind of adverbial clause. Adverbial clause of time. So adverbial clauses of time may begin with one of the following words, which are before, after, while, as soon as, when, whenever, since, till, until, etc. Now, after, here is the example. I have written example using one of these conjunctions, right? After you have completed your O levels, request an appointment from me. I'll then counsel you, I'll talk to you about your pursuing degree, what to choose, what not to opt for, right? Now look at the second type of adverbial clause, and that is adverbial clause of place. It may begin with one of the following words. Adverbial clause of place may begin with either where, whenever, everywhere, anywhere, or etc. Now here is the example. Wherever you go, your kids run after you. You are chased by your kids, right? Now, third kind of adverbial clause of manner. Well, adverbial clauses of manner may begin with one of the following words, which are as though, as if, how, however, right? However can be used as conjunctive adverb as well, right? We have some words which are called I'm sorry, conjunctive conjunctive adverbs, right? Conjunctive adverbs. And these words include furthermore, however, nonetheless, etc. Consequently, and other similar words. Now, so we were here. This is not a complete slice. So it may begin with one of the following words. I have chosen one of these words to form an example, and this is here. This is not a complete slice of bread. However you see it, from any angle you see here, however, is connector. It's not that kind of adverb which has been mentioned earlier, right? So this is not a complete slice. Somebody's arguing with me. He's saying this is a complete slice of bread, right? I say, no, this is not a complete slice of bread. However you see it, no matter from which angle you see this slice of bread, it's not complete, right? It has been eaten from somewhere. Now, moving towards the next kind, here's the next or fourth kind of adverbial clause, which is adverbial clause of purpose. So such adverbial clauses may begin with one of the following words, which are so, so that, in order that, right? And here is the typical sentence. I will end this lecture early so that I can back to home, right? Now, next type of adverbial clause, and that is adverbial clause of result. It may begin with that. Keep in your mind, adverbial clause of result may begin with that linked to so, right? Or such in the main clause or in the principal clause, right? Repeating my words, adverbial clauses of result may begin with that. Such clauses may begin with that, but these clauses are linked to either so or such in the main clause. And here is the best example, or I would say better, not the best, right? It was so hot today that nobody even dared to step outside. It was so hot today that nobody even dared to step out, right? So this is the that which I talked about here, right? And so is here that I talked about here, right? Or you can even say he was such a crazy boy that nobody even lifted him. Nobody even valued him, right? This is also a good example. Now moving towards the next kind of adverbial clause, and that is adverbial clause of concession or contrast. It may begin with one of the following words, and words are though, although, even if, even though, while, however. And here's the good example, I would say. I was so tired, and don't forget to add here this semicolon, right? However, then put a comma, I finished my work. This is one way you could even write down. Let me demonstrate you. You could write down the same example like this. I was so tired. Put a full stop or period, then begin new clause, new sentence. However, put a comma, right? I have finished my work, right? This is okay. But if you do so, which I'm gonna demonstrate you, I was so tired. However, I finished my work, right? That's called comma splice. And don't you be worried about that. Inshallah, hopefully without any promise, if I get chance, I'm gonna do a video lesson on such topic as well, right? So don't follow the third one method, follow first one. This is ideal, this is also good. Since you have two simple sentences here, so it's not ideal, but it's ideal, right? Write a complete clause, put semicolon, then put this conjunctive adverb, and then put a comma, then you begin your next clause, right? So this is not correct, so I'm now gonna remove it from here, cancel it. Now moving towards the next kind, adverbial clause of condition, that is also called conditional clause, right? It may begin with one of the following words: if, as long as, on condition that, provided that, unless, or even providing that, right? I haven't included, I guess. Yes, I haven't. They accepted my invitation. Here is the example I'm reading for you. They accepted my invitation to dinner on condition that I let them pay their share. So whatever amount of food they are gonna eat or take will be paid by them, right? Adverbial clause of reason. This is next kind, and it may begin with one of the following words, which are because, as, since, right? As, since. Look at the example here. Since you tried very hard, you have got through. Since you exerted effort, you have got through. You have passed or qualified, right? One who pays effort really succeeds. Now, next kind of adverbial clause is adverbial clause of comparison. That is also called comparative, not called comparative clause, right? That's also called comparative clause. It may begin with then, following a comparative in main clause, or it may also begin with as, following an adverb as in the main clause. And for example, if I say he was as terrific as a ghost, so this sentence fits this explanation or definition, right? So this is typical sentence. He was as terrific as a ghost. I've used this second one structure, which says it may begin with as following an adverb as in the main clause, right? He was as traffic as a ghost, right? Moving towards the next slide, and there is no other kind. So we have looked at all 9 kinds of adverbial clauses, right? Now here's the note that says, note that you can often put adverbial clauses of time, place, reason, concession, and condition before or after the main clause. Keep in your mind, you can often put adverbial clauses of time, place, reason, concession, and condition before or after anywhere, right? Either if you want to put them the first, you can. If you want to put them the last, you can. Really depends on you, right? It's up to you. But only with such clauses, aforementioned clauses, right? Time, place, reason, concession, and condition. And here are the examples. After the people had reached their homes, street became bleak. I have put here street adverbial clause the first, then this is the main clause or principal clause at the last. While here I have brought it the first. Street became bleak after the people had reached their home. Both are correct, right? The different, only the difference is of comma here. When you put, as I mentioned before as well, if you put adverbial or adverb clause the first, so you have to put the comma there. And similarly, here is the adverbial clause of place. You can read on your own, that really pops up on the screen. And here is adverbial clause of reason, that is also there on the screen. You could read on your own. But adverbial clauses of manner, result, purpose, and comparison must follow the main clause. You can't really change the position of adverbial clauses of manner, result, purpose, and comparison on your own, uh, wherever you want to, according to your desire. No, you can't really do so, right? If you do so, you may be wrong in. So I hope you liked this video and you learned something as well. If you did, that's really great. Inshallah, going to see you in the next video lesson. I would like to now see you off. Allah Hafiz.